This is Maria from Instagram, and she wants to know what are the best foods and supplements to improve joint pain.
Yeah, joint pain. So joint pain, obviously, we're always thinking inflammation, right? And so things that are going to help bring down inflammation in general, as far as diet goes, we want a lower carbohydrate diet, high in healthy proteins, healthy fats. We talk a lot about this, but we like to get, our nutritional approaches. We want to maximize nutrients, minimize toxins. So we want to reduce the amount of sugar and grains. They're going to drive up inflammation in our body. So we reduce those. We get rid of all the refined seed oils. So that's your cottonseed oil, corn oil, sunflower, safflower oils, all the different seed oils. And then we focus in on healthy fats, extra virgin, particularly high polyphenol, extra virgin olive oil. I've done several interviews on this podcast with experts looking at this. This is one of the best things you can be putting in your body. There's a certain type of polyphenol called oleocanthols that outperform non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs like ibuprofen, things like that, every time they're studied head to head when it comes to reducing inflammation. And there's no, side effects, right? So you don't have the, like we just talked about, NSAIDs will wear down your stomach lining. So you're getting better benefit there. So olive oil, put a lot of high polyphenol, extra virgin olive oil. I like this company, Fresh Pressed Olive Oil. They're really good. There's another one called Cure, right? That is really good. So go back to some of the podcasts or articles on our site on olive oil. And we have the ones that we recommend, but olive oil is so good for your body. Getting a lot of dark green leafies, getting a lot of good quality, high polyphenol foods, which are going to be all your different colorful vegetables, right? So, you've got things like red onions, you've got things like dark chocolate, green tea, things like that have these polyphenols, really bring down inflammation in the body, good quality protein, grass-fed meats. And, so that's kind of the foundation, the staple points when it comes to the diet. And practicing intermittent fasting, right? Doing intermittent fasting is going to bring down inflammation. It's probably the top nutritional strategy, even though you're not actually eating food, to bring down inflammation in the body, is actually just condensing your eating window. Instead of eating from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed, condensing it down, eating in, let's say, an 8-hour eating window from like 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. or something like that. It's going to give your gut time to rest and heal your gut lining. We know inflammation really starts in the gut. So it's going to do that. It's also going to bring down insulin and help stabilize your blood sugar. And if you can get your gut healthier, stabilize your blood sugar and your insulin, that's going to bring down overall inflammation throughout your body. And there are a bunch of different herbs as well and supplements. So Melissa, I'll let you take it from there.
Yeah. So a couple of my favorites are boswellia and curcumin. Those are both in our Inflam Defense product that I use on a lot of my clients. And then Pro Omega CRP. So fish oil or omega-3 fats are really great for reducing inflammation and improving joint pain. You were mentioning the intermittent fasting, and it made me think about excess weight and its contribution to joint pain. I mean, that's one of the key strategies, is to try to, lose that excess fat that promotes inflammation throughout the body, because that's going to really lead to more joint erosion. And then hydrating well. So we talk a lot about food for joint pain and reducing those anti-inflammatory foods, but we also need to have optimal hydration, because it helps to lubricate the joints, and that helps to reduce that pain and inflammation. So make sure you're drinking at least half your body weight in ounces of water a day. So if you're a 150-pound individual, you would need to drink 75 ounces of water, clean filtered water a day. And you can add some lemon. Every morning I squeeze half a lemon in my water just to go ahead and start my day with that hydration first thing. And it gives me flavor. It helps to support digestion and detoxification. But those would be some additional strategies in addition to the supplements. Another vitamin D3 and magnesium are two that I think about. And don't forget collagen. So Dr. Jockers mentioned earlier that collagen protein, that's great to use. I use collagen in my smoothies to help support joint and collagen. And if you're curious, there's the genetics test that we use. One of the pathways that is tested there is joint and collagen. So you can learn if it's a genetic issue for you.
Yeah, for sure. And that is interesting. When I got my genetic test done, I was very susceptible to problems with my collagen, right, in my joints. So
Me
there's
too.
different measures that, yeah. And we have a similar body type, right?
Yeah.
And so there's definitely measures that you can take. And probably the most well-researched things, you mentioned vitamin D. There is good research that shows when you're very deficient, right? So the way that deficiency in vitamin D is looked at as under 30 nanograms per milliliter. Very deficient is considered under 20 nanograms per milliliter. So the people that are under 20 nanograms per milliliter tend to have, there's an association between them having more of this sort of chronic pain type of issue, right? So getting your vitamin D levels up is so critical. Getting sun exposure is really the best way. Good regular sun exposure, but of course you can also supplement with vitamin D as well. So you want to look for that vitamin D3, and also taking it with K2 and magnesium can be helpful as well, because all those work together to get calcium out of the bloodstream into the bones, help support and strengthen the bones and the collagen tissue, right? And you mentioned collagen protein. You're getting, the key amino acids that you need with that, so that can be helpful. And then just as far as herbs go, you mentioned turmeric, boswellia, which is also frankincense, right? So you may have heard of frankincense. Ginger is pretty well researched to bring down inflammation in the body. Proteolytic enzymes. So these are enzymes you take away from meals. Typically your enzymes you're taking with meals to help you digest the food. With proteolytic enzymes, you take them away from food and they get into your bloodstream. And what they do is they break down circulating proteins. So when we think about inflammatory cytokines and things like C-reactive protein, these are proteins, right? And so they're protein messengers that are telling the immune system, hey, we've got problems here. We've got, all these danger associated, mediators that are circulating. And so we need to turn up inflammation throughout the body, right? Particularly, if you're genetically susceptible in the joints. And that the proteolytic enzymes will break those down. So they'll get less of that inflammatory message. And they also can actually help to repair damaged tissue, right? So they help to repair the damaged tissue and speed up the healing process. So absolutely. We work with a lot of people with chronic pain. Definitely reach out to Melissa. She can help you with this. She's helped a lot of people dealing with joint pain.